Hello and welcome. This is Reset for Success. And today we have a wonderful guest, Deborah. She's going to be talking about decluttering, diversifying, and thriving. Hi, ladies.
Good
Hi.
morning. Hello.
Hi. Yes, my co-host, Lady Lou. How you doing today?
Absolutely 110%.
Oh, I love that. And Deborah, so welcome. We're so glad to have you here today.
Thank you so much for including me in this series. I'm excited to share with your guests and with you how we can refresh ourselves really in any moment.
Oh, I love that.
We
And
have to.
this time and day and age, we all need to be refreshed and reset and happier and all that good stuff. So we're anxious to hear what you have to show us and tell us.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. I'm excited about it because every time I bring on somebody that gets it, okay, and I know Deborah gets it, okay, so she's into holistic, she's into growing her own plants and fruit and greens. And so, just as I've gotten to know you a little bit more, Deborah, I know that you understand what it is that we're trying to do here. Because every single day, as I like to say, somebody's going to poke you. It
Yeah.
never fails. And it has nothing to do with you usually. It's whatever they're going through. And they just, you know, they just encroach in on your space, your head space. And so what I like to do is reset every single morning. So every time we have a new guest on, they have a new tip for us. Something that we can use to refresh, to renew, to reset. And so we're grateful to have you here. Lady Lou,
Yes.
do you have any specific questions for Deborah?
Well, sure.
I
Because
knew
when
you
when you
would.
said you were a multipreneur, I love that word. And just before the show started, she was telling us some of the things that she's into, and it just is mind-boggling because she is a lady who has chosen to do what she loves, and she loves what she does. So tell us a little bit about your favorite thing to do, Deborah.
My favorite thing to do is
Mhm.
to help people take back their health.
When you say people, is that all people, children, adults, women,
All
men,
people,
anybody?
all people,
Okay, all people.
all people. I work with families, I work with seniors, I work with men, I work with women to create a lifestyle that supports them to be well, to be free in their minds and free in their spaces. For that, I'm a professional organizer. I wear all these hats. I'm a professional organizer. I own two wellness businesses, and I'm highly trained as someone who listens all the way to the end and then doesn't give any advice, just asks really good questions.
And that's big because so many people have advice to give that wasn't asked for.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Yeah.
have fallen into that trap, haven't we, Lady Lou? You know, when someone that you love and care for is telling you about this horrible thing they're going through or whatever, their spouses blah blah blahs or their neighbors blah blah blahs, it's a trap that we fall into. Oh, well, let me fix that. And recently, Lady Lou and I were advised by Eileen Dillon, who is a psychoanalyst. That's kind of scary, that word. Anyway, she was telling us, look, you don't always have to fix it, okay? And they don't always want you to try to fix it. Maybe they just want to talk. Maybe they just want to, have some conversation. So that's a really good way to handle yourself, Deborah.
Yes,
Well, it's
beautiful.
benefited not only me in all of my relationships, especially in the last year or so when I've really dived into um, listening,
Mhm.
but also my businesses and my community work. I do some volunteering in the community on a couple of boards. And when you have different people from different backgrounds and different thoughts and opinions coming together for a common good, it's really useful to be able to listen.
Biggie, a
Yeah.
biggie.
And I would call myself a recovering fixer.
I was going to ask you about that because that's our nature. We're helpers. I mean, I can tell you're a helper bee. I'm a helper bee. God put me on this earth, I feel, to help. So when someone is in trouble or they're telling me something, it's just my first reaction. Well, let me fix that.
Yes.
So tell us how you got over that without,
Several
alienating
decades ago,
people.
I discovered the work of, her name just escaped me. Last name is Beatty, and Beattie, I believe. And she wrote several books on codependence.
Oh.
And Melody Beatty. And I found her books just a knock upside the head for how I was being with people, which was making myself indispensable, kind of chameleon-like.
Uh-huh.
What do you need? I'll provide it. Where do you want to take your life? I'll get you there. In my own quiet way, I was a sneaker wave of codependence. Because I would listen and I would observe, and then I would subtly make a suggestion or take an action on someone's behalf, but it was usually intrusive and not called for, not asked for. And it was really a great period of my life for self-discovery and resetting. And it wasn't like something that happened overnight.
No.
It took a long time for me to get out of those behaviors and to think that, and also the inside thinking that I had to be that way to be valued.
Yeah. Lady Lou, how about you? Was it overnight that you just learned this and you just decided to do it, or has it been a while?
It's a process for all of it. It's an awareness to start with that you're doing it. And I have to tell you, I used to jump in and, oh yeah, let's get it done. Let's fix it and all that. And when I finally got it, that's not my job, it was so freeing. I could just sit back and listen and watch them go through whatever it is they needed to go through. And I didn't have to put forth that effort that I used to expend and wear myself out doing. It was liberating. Did you find that too, Deborah?
Absolutely. And that brings me back to today. That kind of work is inside work.
Yes.
The work that you did, Lady Lou, the work that I did, because our lives working out is an inside job.
Yes.
And, beginning from the inside is really how things are going to have a lasting benefit for us and others.
I know.
And there are three things that I focus on that I want to share today. One is our wellness. If you're not well, and it's an old saying, if you don't have your health, what do you have?
Nothing.
If I want to be vital and if I want to be brain active, if I want to have the stamina to be in the world today, which is so fast paced, even with this pandemic,
yes,
we're living fast paced lives. And, so it's important to have some really simple, and that's my theme today, is simplify. We have to have some really simple tools that we use for our wellness. And the first is hydration.
yes.
We're 70% water. Our bodies are 70% water, and we need a constant source of good water going in to be able to have our cells function.
Yes.
And
I have a question about that, Deborah, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So it seems to have been going down. Okay. So they used to tell us we're 90% water. Then I heard we were 85% water, and then 80, and now 70. It's 75. Now it's down to 70. Are we losing water, or we got better at figuring out where?
The science is better.
Oh,
okay.
The science is better.
That makes sense.
I mean, here's one thing that brought that to mind for me in terms of improved science. One of the things that's really popular these days is CBD oil and CBD oil products. And in learning about that for myself, I learned that there's a system in our bodies called the endocannabinoid system, like the nervous system, the digestive system, the circulatory system. And I've taken anatomy and physiology 3 times because of my previous career as a yoga teacher and my high school and college courses. I never heard of an endocannabinoid system.
Me either.
Because, you know why? Because it was illegal.
Huh?
Cannabis and hemp were illegal.
Oh.
So it's like the science completely went away until it became legal. And now you hear about it. And you can find diagrams of the endocannabinoid system and how it works in our bodies. It's, science advances.
Wow. That's fascinating because I didn't know that.
Right. So as science improves, things are going to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. We'll never know everything there is to know about anything.
Right.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about that because even though it's been fairly legal, or at least you can get things, right now, there's still some, like flashbacks. I wanted to say a different word, but I didn't. There's some flashbacks due to when I grew up, 60s and 70s, early 80s. I'm still growing up, 2000s. Anyway, we smoked pot back in the day when I was in high school and early college, and it wasn't pleasant. What memory problems and kind of feeling. So when CBD oil first started coming out, people were still thinking that's what it was. It was something illegal. It was something bad for you. It was something that was going to, hurt your memory. And nobody wants that, right? So I hope that you could take just a few minutes and educate us on why this is different than smoking pot.
Happy to. Oh. So it really comes down to where the product comes from. Marijuana and the oil that has THC, which is the psychoactive aspect of marijuana, comes from the female hemp plant.
The female?
There's a female plant and a male plant.
How do they tell the difference? Is it a flower or what?
The female plant is planted far apart, so it will bush out and bud, flower and bud.
Oh.
The hemp plant, the male plant, is planted close together as a crop. Oh. And it doesn't flower, it doesn't bud, and it doesn't produce the THC oil in the massive quantities that the marijuana plant does. So hemp oil, which is where the CBD comes from, the cannabinoid, has very little of the THC, which has it be legal.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, how do they tell the difference?
And medically, there are differences. Some people respond better to marijuana products as a medicinal dosage.
Yes, I have heard of cancer. People like have cancer or bone issues, a lot of pain. It helps with the pain. Mm-hmm. Not sure why.
But that's also true with CBD oil products without the psychoactive element. It just depends on the dosage and the way the product is transmitted. Mm-hmm. I have a salve that I like that because I've broken bones in my life and I've had arthritis set in a couple of places, and the salve, which is just hemp oil, CBD oil, topically takes the pain completely away.
Wow.
So, and I've seen that with others too.
Good.
So, it's helpful to be able to experiment a little bit and see what works for you. It's a very individual process.
Yes, yes. And
Mm-hmm.
different brands and different companies, they're different. The dosage or the strength or whatever
Mm-hmm.
can vary.
Yes, yes. You can get it in different companies have different strengths of the oil, and if you're going to purchase it, you want to find some that doesn't have things that cut it down.
Yes.
You want it to be the first ingredient, not the last.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Read
don't
the
want
label.
sugar. Yeah, don't be sugar on the first one, right? Or water. It's
Right.
like,
Or
nah.
water
Yeah.
or some other kind of oil or the fragrance or the flavoring. You don't want those to be on top. You want those to be on the bottom of the
Right,
list. Yeah.
right. Because it
Mhm.
goes according to volume. So
Right.
if it's got mostly water, then you're buying a watered down product.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Deborah,
Yeah.
do you have any decluttering tips for us today? I know that whenever I clean up my office, and when I mean clean, I don't mean like Windex. I'm talking about like decluttering. I
Mhm.
always feel better. So do you have any
Mhm.
tips for us today?
Sure. First, it's really useful to ask yourself, what do you want? What do you want to feel and experience when you're in that space? Do you want to feel energized or do you want to feel calm? Do you want to feel creative or do you want to feel um, confident?
Yes.
Because the way you set
She's
up your
saying yes to it all. That's what we want. We want all that.
you may
Uh-huh.
have you may in your dining room you may want to feel a sense of peace. In your office you may want to be energized.
Mm-hmm.
In your bedroom you may want calm. So the way you set things up when you're decluttering is going to, what I tell my clients is we're going to remove anything that isn't what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's, I tend to work with people with what they have. I don't want to have them go out and expend a lot of money on new things or unless they want a new chair or a new set of drapes or something. I really want to work with what they have. And in every case, they're happy with what gets created because what's been jarring to their vision or their hearing or their sense of wellness in that environment is gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's
So
important
you want
because
to ask yourself, what do you want to experience in that
yes.
space, in that part of the house or
Mm-hmm.
in your office? And if you had it, what would be made available?
Yeah.
Would you feel empowered? Would you feel a sense of relaxation? You want to answer those questions for yourself, or at the very least, just inquire, so you know where to begin.
Yeah. And then you'll know where everything is because you can
And
you got it
for that,
organized.
yeah, for that, the
Yeah.
tips,
It
the
doesn't take
main tip I
long
have is,
though. I declutter and then all of a sudden I look around and I'm like, God, Marian, you are such a mess. I got piles of this and that. How'd that get there? Ah,
we
but I
human
always feel
beings,
better when I declutter. I always feel good because I surround myself in these colors,
yeah,
all the ocean colors. So I have pictures that are of the ocean, and I have a rug that's the coral colors and the ocean colors. And I want it to be clean and clutter free.
mhm.
It doesn't last very long for me.
Well, here are two other things. One, only touch paper once. If
Oh.
it's mail, when you get it out of the mail box or wherever it is, if you're not going to open it right away, put it in one place and put it in your calendar that you deal with your mail. And dealing with the mail means having a recycle bin nearby, or and a trash can, and whatever filing system or action step system you have set up. Like if you have two pieces of paper that you need to take action on, put those in your calendar, and then get rid of the paper unless you're going to file it, in which case you put it in your filing system.
Uh-huh.
So you only handle it one time.
That's brilliant.
Really, it's really a time saver, you don't have to think in your mind, oh, that bill that I had. No, it's already in your calendar to pay it. If you haven't already done so, and as soon as you've paid it, you can shred that piece of paper or recycle it. The other thing is, when you're decluttering a volume of stuff, you want to have a container for recycling, a container for trash, a container for giveaway, and a container for sell.
Oh.
And that way, everything goes in a container, and as soon as you're done with that decluttering, you move those containers out of the space and dispatch them. Put the recycling in your recycle bin or in your car, put the giveaway stuff, in your car to dump it at, a charity shop or, one of those bins where they take shoes and, household goods.
Nice.
And then the things that you're going to sell, put it in your calendar for when you're going to go online and take pictures of those and sell them.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a motivation to declutter and get rid of stuff. So I did exactly what you're talking about. I have a box I call it my to-go box now, and that goes to a charity. I love the Women's Center here in Houston, so I typically send it there. They have a thrift shop. And then I have my trash can and my recycle for papers and things like that. And my dream is to have a little camper van or a motorhome a small motorhome. And my partner says, Marian, until you can prove to me that you can get it down to a bare minimum here, you're not going to do it, because it would be like you'd be swimming in your stuff in a little small space. So I've been working on it.
Good.
Yeah. I've been working on it. Yeah. Motivation. All right, let's talk about diversifying. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, when one is free in one's mind, then there's space for creativity. There's space for vision to emerge out of one's inquiry. Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
If you're in a particular field and things aren't going the way you want, is there something inside the field that you see possible for yourself? And then once you envision it, you can put your intention on it, and you can go for it. But what if there's nothing inside of where you are presently that appeals to you, and you have a sense that there's something else? That's where we can begin to look at diversifying. You can stay right where you are and diversify, just like I did, and it sounds like, Lady Lou, you have too. That there are things that we do for our vocation and things that we do that are our avocations, things that we enjoy. I've always liked variety, so I have 4 businesses. Why not?
Yes, I totally get that. We have somebody in the office who's talking about decluttering before we move on to diversifying. But she does the same. I know she has children and she has a husband and she's got multiple jobs she's doing. Hi, Stacy. Good to see you. Stacey. Yes. So she does quite a few different things as well. And so, yes, declutter, girl, go for it.
Yes. It's a great space to be in when you're ready. It's like resetting your body, getting your body cleaned out and restored to wellness. Once you're really committed, you go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're ready to put down the sugar, when you're ready to drink more water, when you're ready to ensure better sleep, when you're really ready, you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not ready and you're not doing it, you can inquire. What's in my way? What's in my way? It's a great space to be in. It's not like there's the perfect right answer, but it's great to inquire, because once you clear the clutter in your own mind, then you can take those simple steps to go forward. Maybe in terms of decluttering, it's an area of a room, like the chair, the chair in the bedroom that seems to not be a chair you can sit on anymore because it's got piles of clothes.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so satisfying to unearth something. And in the process, you often find something you've been looking for. Isn't that the case?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You've just been in my house.
You're not bad, Lady Lou. I've seen much worse.
I've been helping people declutter since, I think it's probably 1970. I want to say 1971 or 2.
Oh, my.
I learned this from my mother, who had a business where she helped people with their spaces. Started it as a house cleaning business, and then people were asking her, because she always had such a lovely home, like, well, how did you achieve this in your house, and how did you do that? And so she began to help people organize their spaces, and I learned that from her and just took off with it. And so I've been doing it part-time. I was doing it part-time even when I had my corporate nonprofit job here in Houston for 18 and a half years. I would accumulate my leave time, and then I would let people know, I've got 2 weeks coming up, who wants me to come and weave some magic in your space.
Oh, lovely.
Now, how many jobs did you say you have now?
I own 3 businesses, and then my organizing business, that's the 4th.
Perfect.
None of them are my jobs.
I totally get it. I get that totally. So Stacy says, working on teaching the kids the right habits to not end up where we are now. It's not easy. I totally get that.
Sorry, I had a little camera. Episode here.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Now, Stacy, I totally get that, because my mother did not teach me any of those habits, and that's why I am the way I am today. So even if they don't like it right now, continue to teach them, because it will be very important later on when they don't have you to clean up their mess.
Exactly, because kids will try to get away with anything.
That's right. Isn't that the truth? She's got some adorable kids. Oh my God, I just love seeing your pictures. I want to remind everybody that we are live for this particular show. It's every Wednesday at 12 Central. But we also have 2 other shows. We have the Work From Home show on Mondays at 12. And on Tuesday evenings at 7, it's Ask the Experts. So if you haven't seen any of these shows, please go back to our YouTube channel and check out some of the other shows that we have going. The Work From Home is one of my favorite shows, because I love working from home. So, Deborah, your camera fell down, huh?
It did. It toppled.
That's okay. Live television.
It is.
Video.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a bit about the diversity then. We just got a couple more minutes.
Sure. So diversifying can be many things. Sometimes it's choosing a new career. Sometimes it's just as simple as creating a new routine for yourself. And it takes a little bit of courage, but not that much. It's not scary. If you feel afraid to start something new or to embark on something new, you might want to look inside again and find out what seems to be in my way.
Oh.
Am I afraid to fail? Am I afraid to succeed? Am I carrying something from the past, like my mother telling me, you'll never make it? Whatever it is, you can, if you inquire into it, it will begin to move away from your core sense of yourself, and then you're going to be free to explore and try something new. And this day, with so much social media supporting us, you can find a group to support you just about anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Oh, my goodness. Online, on Zoom, in masterminds, accountability groups, you name it. There are tons of people out there that have a group for whatever it is you want to do.
Exactly.
Right?
Hmm.
Oh, that is just so fun because we can create our own community. I don't know
Yes.
if you're like me. My family never understood me, didn't understand the works I did and different things. So I created my family of choice, and I love them all. So that's one of the things
Yeah.
we can do for
Yes.
ourselves.
Yeah. If you don't have the support of your closest family members, or even sometimes your closest friends, it's really useful to look and see who are my community allies.
Exactly. And then gather them into you and
Hmm.
create that community.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Deborah. We have run out of time and we're so pleased to have had you here. And
Thank you
we've
so much.
learned a lot. All of us have learned things from you. And we thank you for sharing your knowledge.
You bet.
Thank you. And thank you, Marian, for your good work in the technology. And thank our audience for being there and for Stacy's comments. We love it all. So we'll
Thanks
see
so much.
you. Pardon?
I said thanks so much.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. We
Now
thank you too.
remember, we have all the links to reach Deborah down
Oh,
below if you
yes,
weren't able to see them across the screen, because we do
yes,
have a podcast and people are listening to us. So if you go back to YouTube when you get home, you can see all the links that we
yes.
talked about today and how to reach Deborah.
Very good. Well, thank you again, everyone. We love you. We'll see you again.
Bye for
Bye.
now.